All right, our last question for the segment. If this is a path, there's progress and there's regress. What are the signs of progress? This question I'd like to ask both of you.
There are many signs. I think succinctly, one of the signs is that you find istiqamah, which is uprightness, is facilitated for you. And there could be short-term signs, like your heart expands, you start to taste the sweetness of worship, but then that might be taken from you, and people oftentimes misinterpret what that means. And they think that somehow they've been derailed, something happened to them, and they're chasing this kind of early experience that they received when they first started setting on the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I would say that the greatest sign really is a life of uprightness is facilitated for you. And one of the things we have to recognize with the spiritual path, it's not linear. It's not like reading a book from page 1 to page 150. The spiritual path is not linear. It's linear inwardly, but not outwardly. There will be all types of things that come your way. Our job is to respond to them with our servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will get what you need in reality, but it's not going to necessarily be in the way that you think it's going to be or how you feel internally when things are happening. Meaning, you might go through a major tribulation, and that's what you needed to reach the highest degrees closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last thing I'll say is that spiritual growth also, like learning a language or anything else, you will have your points where you plateau. So you kind of notice that you're increasing, but then it flattens out. And then the key is that when it flattens out and you don't think that you're changing, you keep exerting that spiritual struggle that Sheikh Ismail just referred to from that verse. And then what you'll find is then you'll just seem to jump up. So from 30 to all of a sudden 70% in that period of time, but it requires that you keep putting that energy in to have that second increase after that in ascension.
MashaAllah, yes, and I'll add, a sign of you progressing on that path is that you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ more and more in the right way, in the true way. Meaning, if you become more religious, more spiritual, let's say, more obedient to Allah Azza wa Jal, but you're more judgmental, but you're not smiling as much anymore, but you're breaking people's hearts, through your tongue, through your actions, and you're not becoming more merciful, you're not becoming tougher with yourself, but easier with others, then that's a major red flag. And you find, all of us know, when we sat with our teachers, the very first hadith we study and we hear is Ar-Rahimuna yarhamhumur Rahman. The first hadith we study with our teachers of hadith is that the Prophet ﷺ said, those who are merciful with others will be shown mercy by the Most Merciful. So if you become more religious, but you're less merciful, more judgmental, always walking around with a frown, then you're not truly following the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That's why it's so important to connect yourself with real teachers and to also study the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, because how will you know if you're on the right path or not? How will you know if you're following the right person or not, or you're just following the ego or what you think religiosity is?